Hey, what is up guys? My name is PabLoon, aka BobLyn, and today we are back with another Master Cruiser series or episode. Today we're going to be talking about probably the most important factor of any multiplayer PvP game, if there is a map in the game, and that is map awareness. And the reason map awareness is super important, and especially World of Warships, is because it is one of the two things that consistently gives information about the enemy team. The other thing being the detection thing that shows if you're detected or not. Other than that, there's not a lot of information you can get other than visual information, just by looking. But map awareness, I think, is, along with positioning, the most important factor to get down. And it's probably what's going to take you the longest. And I'm going to get into why it is hard to master map awareness. I still lose sometimes games or battles because I didn't look at the map. I wasn't aware of a DD. And we've all been there, we've all tried it, and this, I hope, maybe helps you a little bit to set it in perspective. So if we move on here, why is it important? Well, it is like I said, the only source of information you have. If you think about it, you have visual confirmation just by looking with your eyes and your telescope. Then you have the map that shows you where enemy ships are if they are detected, and the caps, of course. And then you have the concealment exclamation mark, but I'll get into that later. It is also important because you have tactical oversight. You know where the BBs are, you know what heavy ships are moving to what cap, where can you go depending on where you're playing as. And it gives forewarning. Like I said, you can spot a DD on the map before you even know he's on his way to you. You might be looking in this direction, but the DD is behind you. If you look at the map consistently all the time, you will spot that DD and you will have time to react. And the last thing is strategy. The classic pincer movement here is not really as applicable on the ocean as it is on land, but you can, by utilizing the map and knowing where your enemies are, you can definitely get some amazing strategies pulled off by better tactical overview, pretty much. Now, I want to talk about pro players in esports, and why am I talking about pro players in World of Warships Blitz? Well, that's pretty simple. The man you're seeing in the picture here is the pro League of Legends player from South Korea, Faker, probably the best League of Legends player there ever was. And why am I mentioning him? He looks at the map in League of Legends approximately every 2 seconds. So that's me 1, 2, look down, 1, 2, look down. You can imagine that in a game, a high stakes game that is much more intense than World of Warships is just mechanically. He looks at the map all the time because that's where he gets the most information. Now, granted, the map in this game is a lot more information, generous, whereas World of Warships Blitz, it's very bare bones. But trust me, you are gonna get so much out of looking at that map. I don't know how many people know this, but I remember when I was told this back when I played League of Legends, I was like, wow, I never look at the map. I have not done that at least every 2 seconds. But I want to take you guys on, get you guys onto that theory that looking at the map often is a very good idea. Now the last thing here, concealment. We have our DD, beautiful British DD painting here. Now concealment can also give you a lot of information, especially if you're playing a cruiser or a battleship. Let's say you are somewhat alone on the flank and you haven't been spotted. There's no planes around you and all of a sudden you are detected. Then you know. Especially if you're a cruiser, you know that there's a DD or a light cruiser, around you, because that detection mark, that concealment exclamation mark, this little thing pops out and you can see it on your screen. That means somebody is in your vicinity and can actually see you and shoot you. And the whole enemy team can also see you. So along with the map and this exclamation mark, that is the only information you're going to get consistently in this game. It's not a lot. But depending on what ship you play, let's say you're playing a Worcester, you got your radar, your sonar, this is what you get and this is what you have to work with. And the better you become at getting all the information you can from the map and the concealment exclamation mark, the more powerful you will be in a lot of games consistently. So I have a game for you guys that I have been waiting to release. It is a great Nevsky game where we go to Kraken and a high amount of damage. It's even my fleet record. And map awareness is what saves us in this game because we are fighting a ton of DDs and they're popping out of nowhere, and that is where map awareness really comes into play. So I'll see you guys in the gameplay. So here we are, and I apologize for you guys not being able to see the teams. This is what the backstage of a Blitz YouTuber looks like. I have many folders for ships. Some of you might have gotten a sneak peek into what I'm doing. But anyways, we are playing on Okinawa and map awareness. If you see on the enemy team, they have 3 destroyers, a cruiser, and 3 battleships. And Okinawa is a very interesting map. There is cover, and then it's very open at the same time. The map is not too big either. It's like semi-medium range, size. I really like the map. It plays well. And the name of the game when you're playing a cruiser like Nevsky and trying to get down map awareness is, again, figuring out where is the biggest threat long range. Right now, that's Hindenburg. Hindenburg is actually quite easy for Nevsky to take out. And if you remember from the positioning videos, we are already kiting away, like you see. I'm already kiting away. This Hindenburg is not in range. But I see a ton of battleships out on my port side, meaning my left side. And we are full broadside to them, so maybe it's time to change our course. And again, we are going to be kiting away. I was looking at the map just before that to see this conglomerate of BBs pushing into B, or just sitting outside of B. That instantly, made my reflexes think, okay, I have to turn now, because if one of those guys gets a lucky shot, I can lose half of my HP. We also know that there are DDs in Alpha. They are, somewhat in front of us to our port side. We see a Jutland out there, and we know that most of the enemy force is right here. We also know that the Hindenburg is the one who's furthest away, with another DD who just got spotted, who is capping B. When I'm playing this game, I'm looking on the map every other second. That is what you need to know if you want all the information to make the best strategic decision. Currently, I am pushing towards A because I want to capture this side of the map. The Shimakaze is spotted, and that was with visual, recognition. I didn't have to look at my map. You can also see in your peripheral, just by looking at the screen, of course. But the Shima goes dark, and I'm gonna try to pummel him with the Nevsky AP here. Now, it's probably gonna overpen because Nevsky AP is powerful, but we got a nice salvo right there, and the whole enemy team is just kind of clustered up, and none of them are really shooting at me. But trust me, guys, later in this game we are going to be in some crazy situations and be fighting with, guns firing on all sides. It's going to get a little bit crazy. So we're going to peel away because we see an Alsace who is pushing into A. Again, kiting away. Alsace is quite fast, but he's not very well armored. He's going to go behind the island, and we're going to take some shots at, the Jutland instead. Positioning, again, is trying to minimize my silhouette to the biggest threat, which I believe to be the Mecklenburg. I actually find the Mecklenburg to be quite devastating. For some reason, those 16 305mm are just devastating here at tier 10. So I'm trying to minimize my silhouette to him, but it looks like they're not looking at me. And the Prinz Ruprecht pops up. I knew he was still there. He hadn't moved. So I was still keeping my eye on him to whenever he popped up on the minimap. Now, luckily, I was looking in the direction where he was when he got spotted. So we don't have to really, do much turning to get him. But my point is that if you want to succeed, especially as a cruiser player, this goes for every ship map awareness, you need to look at that map constantly. Currently, the only threat to us over here at Alpha is this Alsace, but he is being dealt with by Yuguma, a beautiful torpedo salvo, and we finish him off with a double Citadel. Now we know, because I'm looking at the map, I see a DD up there, I see a BB and a cruiser, but where are the other 2 destroyers? That is what I'm thinking right now. I'm detected. It can only be the 2 destroyers who are spotting me. So that's why I'm, looking at the detection exclamation mark. If that thing drops and I'm undetected, then I know there's no DD in my vicinity, because if there was a battleship, I would see it. We spot the Jutland, and we are sitting behind this island. Again, guys, positioning, trying to minimize who can shoot at us so we can get free damage on unsuspecting enemies. We are trying to push out past this island here, and now the Shimakaze is also spotted. So we know there's 2 DDs out on our port flank, and if we can take out this Jutland, we only need to worry about 1, and he goes down. Now, if you remember, there was another destroyer who is probably on his way into B right now. So he is on my starboard side, my right side. And now we are probably detected by the Shima. Sixth Sense helps us a lot here. We are actually running Kuznetsov in this clip right here. It's crazy to run Kuznetsov on Nevsky. Can highly recommend it. The enemy shimmer we were hunting is finally spotted, and I am gonna unleash hell on him. We luckily did a pretty good turn, and now we actually dodged all his torpedoes. But we notice on our starboard side, our right side behind the island, a battleship is pushing up, and that can only be the Mecklenburg, and from what I remember, he was pretty healthy. So I immediately start turning in not broadside, bow on to meet him. I want to complete a full turn behind the island, and I have to hope for the best here. I have to hope to dodge his torps and a full salvo from his AP. Now, we are actually going to get quite lucky in this situation, and we leave unscathed somewhat. The situation there with the Mecklenburg is something you're going to have to face, and taking the risk is pretty much all you can do. Playing a cruiser especially, you're going to take some massive risks as we take out the Shimakaze with our torpedoes. I don't know how that happened, but it did. Now we have to take care of this Hindenburg, and Hindenburg is a deadly, deadly cruiser to Nevsky, and I have to save my Somers from this guy. He is the biggest threat to my DD right now. This Somers is fighting for his dear life, and he's my only teammate. So I'm just trying to focus down the biggest threat to us and him, or me and him. My health is gonna plummet soon because Hindenburg in range is a devastating cruiser to this ship. So we're gonna try to get behind this island. We have the Mecklenburg on our port side. We know he's shooting. He's from a good fleet. We finally get the Hindenburg and our Kraken, and now it's just time to haul ass. We are ahead on points. The Somers is alive, and I want him to just run away. That is the play right here. The play is to go undetected. I'm staying behind the island as much as possible, and then we're just gonna, you know, yeet the F out of here. Nope, we're not gonna stay. 16 305mm is just deadly, but my greedy mind can't help myself. Nevsky is a kiting ship, and the shells are just devastating at long range. But for some reason, the shimmer also pops up, so maybe, just maybe we can get a lucky salvo in on him. Just 1, 2, 3, he turns. So unfortunately, no kill for us. But we win the game, and all thanks to excellent map awareness, and sorry for mistaking that Mecklenburg for a Hindenburg. I remember when I played this game that, you know, I had to take that gamer turn. It's just something you have to do sometimes. But yeah, an intense game nonetheless. 5 kills and 137,000 damage. No bots. A great game, a very fun game, and an intense game nonetheless. And I hope you guys got some tips and tricks, and now a lot of you probably understand what at least I do to, you know, have the biggest advantage in the game, and that means looking at the map all the time. And I think a lot of you better players out there, or veteran players I should say, will definitely agree with me on this, that good map awareness is, you know, Primus, it's alpha omega. Primus something, I'm just gonna say alpha omega. It's super important, and that is what makes or breaks a good or bad player. It's what separates the mice from men, to be honest, or the mice from women. Let's include everyone here. But I'm rambling. Let's move on to the build I was running on this ship. Alright guys, so just before I end off the video here, here we have the Nevsky. Same equipment as the other videos in this series. The only thing I've changed is I put Kuznetsov on this, and well, it's good. So this is the build. Artillery maintenance, very nice to have. This is amazing to have. Healing helps. I opted in for more healing actually instead of taking marksman. I am beginning to think more and more that precise aiming is kind of like a luxury thing, and you really don't need it. If you can manage to dodge and consistently fire, you're gonna get the same amount of hits, right? And I'd rather have some more healing so I could sustain more fighting. Next up, of course, exploit weakness. You gotta take adrenaline rush, demolition expert, honor secret plus, APCS. This is a good HE ship, don't get me wrong, but the AP is superb. And then we have the meme skill, bulletproof. This is just good on everything, right? But on Nevsky, it actually felt kind of nice, and I might just let him stay here. I did this for this video. I put it on here for this video, but yeah, I might just keep this, honestly. Anyways, I hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you learned something new, tell me about it in the comments. I'm gonna keep this series going with more in-depth stuff. Now we've talked about a lot of the basics. Where's more advanced stuff, really. But what it takes to understand how to play this game, we're gonna go into objective gameplay, team play, gonna talk about light cruisers, and we're gonna be touching a lot of different subjects. So I hope you guys stick around and enjoy. My name has been BobLyn, and I am signing out.